Well, in the last lecture, we stopped at the algebraic structures. So an algebraic structure is the combination of the set of the operations that are applied to the elements in the set. So that we have seen some definitions that the categories of algebraic structures like the groups, subgroups, semi-groups, the cyclic groups, cosets, abelian group. So these are the various types of algebraic structures that we have seen. And also we have seen that the properties of binary operations, that is commutative, associative, and distributive properties of the binary operations. After that, we have moved on to the algebraic structure, that a non-empty set G equipped with one or more binary operations is called an algebraic structure. So here N is a set, Q is a set, and R is a set. Some binary operation is going to be performed on this. So whenever you use this binary operation, it has to have the properties such as commutative property, associative property, and distributive property. So here we have seen an example, that is, suppose G is a non-empty set. G cross G is equal to A comma B, A belongs to G and B belongs to G. So that after performing the multiplication G cross G, the resultant will be in the same set. So here this condition may not be true for the matrix operations. So the reason is because of the different dimensions of the matrix, this addition is not possible. That example we have seen. Next, we have seen other examples like A comma B belongs to S, A plus B is also belongs to S, where plus is the binary operation in C in S. Like that, the multiplication operation and other operations. And also, I ask you to remember this. Here, some symbol will be given between two elements. That symbol may be of anything. It may lead to some specific expression. Okay. So, but we should consider this particular relation or this particular algebraic structure with respect to the resultant equation. So for this, if you look at an example, so here an example was given. Some symbol is there between A and B. So this A and B is equal to A plus B minus AB. So if you perform the operation, this particular operation, this may be any binary operation, some binary operation. You don't know what is the operation, some binary operation. If you do this binary operation, the resultant expression is A plus B minus AB. This is the thing. So now using this, you will be asked to find out whether it is associative and commutative or not, whether it is distributive and other things or not. So you have to take or you have to consider this particular expression for proving whether it is commutative or associative. For example, A binary operator B is equal to B binary operator A. This is called commutative law. We'll see A binary operator B is equal to A plus B minus AB. Now, if you say B binary operator A, then it is equal to B plus A minus BA. Okay. So since addition can be represented as B plus A or A plus B, it is one and the same. Multiplication AB or BA is also one and the same. So that is the reason A binary operator B is equal to B binary operator A. Now, we'll go for A binary operator B, this is whole within the brackets, and binary operator C. Now you consider this A binary operator B as some X and C as Y. Now how it is looking like? X binary operator Y. So what the resultant expression is? X plus Y minus XY. So now substitute the corresponding X derivation, that is A binary operator B. So wherever Y is there, you substitute C. Then expand it. What could be the resultant expression? That is A plus B minus AB plus C minus AC minus BC plus ABC. Clear? So this is the binary operation. This is the resultant expression. And if you do in the same way, using associative law, A binary operator within B and C, B binary operator C. Now you consider A as X and B binary operator C as Y. Now X plus Y is minus XB. That is the resultant expression. Wherever Y is there, you substitute B binary operator C. Then you expand it. So you will get the same expression, that is A plus B minus AB minus C minus AC minus BC plus ABC, whatever you got in the previous step. So hence both are, this is commutative as well as associative. So this is the way you are supposed to prove the expression. While coming to this, fill in the blank in the following composition table so that the binary operator, some binary operator is given, is associative in S. So here some table has been given for you. Using this table, you need to prove this is associative. So A binary operator A is A binary operator B is B, A binary operator C is C, A binary operator D is D. B binary operator A is B, B binary operator B is A. You don't know how you got, okay? This is the pattern, okay? You have to observe. By observing this pattern, you need to fill the last row, that is D binary operator A. So this D binary operator A, D binary operator B, D operator C, and D operator D. These four has to be filled with the operations happened in the previous three rows. Clear? So solution is D binary operator A. So D binary operator A. So here we are going to take the D binary operator, where in the previous row where you got the D recently, that is with the C binary operator B we are going to take. If you take C binary operator D, because we have not defined what is D, so the reason we cannot expand it further. So hence we have taken C binary operator B as the D. Then binary operator A. So since C operator B is equal to D, that you have observed in the previous row. So this is the row. C binary operator B is equal to D. Okay, this is what you have observed. So that you are going to replace D with that particular expression. Okay. Now, so to prove it is associative, C binary operator, B binary operator A. So B binary operator A means here B. So this will result into B. C binary operator B, C binary operator B is again will come to D. So that means this is in a form of associative, you will got like this. Next you take D binary operator B. So like that you are supposed to take the expansion of D, which was there in the previous step, and you need to prove it as associative. So hence the required composition table is like this, and you will get the resultant rows like D, C, C, D. Okay. So I hope by this time you got clear that, see, the operator, once you apply operator on two elements, it may result into any resultant expression. Okay, you don't know what is the expression. But if I ask you the simple binary operations like addition, multiplication, division, this kind of things, then you can predict. But some of the questions will be like this. Okay, you may come across the questions like this. If two elements are given, which are belong to a particular set, and one binary operator is applied on those two elements, and they will give you, this is the resultant expression you will get. Now with that expression, you need to prove whether it is associative or commutative or distributive. Clear? So this is the way you are supposed to prove it. Next is semi-groups. An algebraic structure S comma operator is called as semi-group if the binary operation is, that is, operation is associative in S. So that means if it satisfies the associative property, then we can say it is a semi-group. That is, S comma binary operator is said to be semi-group if A comma B belongs to S, A operator B belongs to S, for all A comma B belongs to S. And also it is because we have called it as associative, A binary operator B binary operator C is equal to A binary operator B binary operator C. Now let us take the example n comma plus is a semi-group. Now here plus is the simple addition. Okay, now it is simple addition. For A comma B belongs to n. N is the natural numbers. Okay. A plus B belongs to n. So A comma B comma C also belongs to n. So that A plus B plus C is equal to A plus B plus C. In the same way, Q comma minus is not a semi-group. The reason is if you take the numbers from Q, like 5 comma 3 by 2 comma 1 belongs to Q, so that 5 minus 3 by 2 minus 1 is not equal to 5 minus 3 by 2 minus 1. Okay, this is simple. This is simple subtraction. Next is R comma plus is a semi-group. So on the real numbers. R is real numbers or any other? Real numbers. So now the operation, binary operation is defined by A operator B is equal to A. Now that means if you multiply, if you perform binary operation on A and B, this particular expression will give you A always. For all A comma B belongs to S. Show that S comma binary operator is a semi-group. That means it should form the associative property. So let A comma B belongs to S. So A binary operator B is equal to A, which is also belong to S. Now let A comma B comma C belongs to S. A binary operator B operator C is equal to A binary operator B is resulting into A. Right? Now, so this particular expression is resulting into A, because already we have seen A binary operator B is equal to A. That means A binary operator C. So here you take C as some x, some value, any value. That means if you have observed a pattern that A operator with any element, okay, operation on any element will give you the same element. Okay, that is what you have observed from the pattern. So that reason A binary operator C is also giving you A. So which is also an associative in S. So this is the way you are supposed to prove it. And this you can do it, A binary operator B is equal to A plus B minus AB, the same previous equation that we have seen. Now you are supposed to prove it as a semi-group. So previously we have seen that it is commutative as well as associative. So since it is associative, we can directly say that it will also form the associative property and also form the semi-group. Next, let Z comma star be an algebraic structure where Z is a set of integers and the operation star is defined by, now this operation is not multiplication. Here they are specifying that operation star is n star m is equal to maximum of n comma m. Right? A comma B, A star B is equal to maximum of A comma B, like that. Check that Z comma star is a semi-group or not. That means you need to go for checking of the associative. That is A star of B star C. Okay. That means maximum of A comma B comma C. Whatever is the maximum, that is the maximum you get. If you do from the left side or from the right side, whatever it may be, you will get the maximum element. So hence, by uh, general comparison itself, you will come to know that it is associative. So next, we'll move on to the groups concept. A group is an algebraic structure G comma star in which the binary operation star on G satisfies the following conditions. What are the following conditions? So it should have the associativity property, and there should exist an identity, existence of an identity, and also should satisfy the inverse property. So the first condition is for all A comma B comma C belongs to G, A star B of B star C is equal to A star B star C, which is associative. And existence of an identity. Some identity should be there, like A star E is equal to E star A is equal to A. So it is just like any matrix with its supporting size of identity matrix will give you the same matrix. Just like that, some identity must be present. Next one is inverse. There should be some inverse should be present in the group. So A star A inverse is equal to A inverse star A is equal to E. So if these three are satisfied, then we can say this is a group. So Z comma plus is a group where Z denotes the set of integers, and also R comma plus is a group where R denotes the set of real numbers. So I hope by this time you come to know what is meant by a group. Next, we will see the abelian group. So abelian group, so far we have seen what are the properties. One is commutative property, associative property, distributive. Next one is inverse and identity. These are the properties we have seen. So abelian group, you can also make note of this. Abelian group is a group with additional property called commutative. Okay. So here in group we have associativity, identity, and inverse. If you add commutative also in this, then that group is said to be abelian group. We have discussed it in the previous lecture that we always prefer abelian groups for the cryptography purpose, because A plus B should also equal to B plus C, sorry, B plus A. So this is commutative, a kind of property should be satisfied. Okay, if you perform the this commutative, the resultant value should also fall under the same group. That means, what is the meaning of this? That means if you encrypt using public key, okay, then you should be in a position to decrypt using the private key. So if it is not commutative, then it is not possible to get it. So that is the reason always we'll focus on the choosing of abelian groups for the public key cryptography. That we have seen in the last lecture also. So the abelian group G comma star be a group if star is commutative, that is A star B is equal to B star A for all A comma B belongs to G. Then G comma star is called as an abelian group. Next one is finite group. A group G is said to be finite if the set G is finite set. Okay. We have seen countable set, uncountable sets in the module 2. Like that, finite and infinite. Finite sets are means you can count it. Okay, some finiteness will be there. So G is equal to 1 minus 1 comma 1 is a group with respect to the operation multiplication where G is the finite set having two elements. Therefore, G is a finite group. Infinite, a group G which is not finite is called infinite, obviously. Order of finite group, the order of finite group is the size of the group. That is indicated by this one, mod, this size operation. Let G is equal to minus 1 comma 1 is the set and comma star. The set G is a group with respect to the binary operation multiplication. That is after performing the operation, the order of the finite group is 2. So here some examples have been given. Find that the set Z of all integers with binary operation star defined by. Now here a pattern is given to you. A star B is not directly multiplication, but if you perform A star B, then you will get the expression like A plus B plus 1. For all A comma B belongs to G is an abelian group or not. So when you say abelian group, it should be associative. They should exist from inverse identity, and also it should be commutative. So sum of two integers is again an integer. So therefore A plus B belongs to Z for all A comma B belongs to Z. So A plus B plus 1 belongs to Z for all A comma B belongs to Z. So Z is called with respect to star. So associatively for all A comma B belongs to Z, here A comma B comma C belongs to G. We have A star B star C is equal to A star B star C, as A star B star C is equal to wherever A star B is there you place A plus B plus 1. Now you will get the resultant one, and in the reverse direction you perform the same operation, then you will get the same expression. So here are some questions, like show that set of all non-zero real numbers is a group with respect to multiplication. Now go for the closure property, associativity, identity, inverse. So let R star is equal to set of non-zero real numbers. Let A comma B comma C are any three elements of R star. The closure property, we know that the product of two non-zero real numbers is again a non-zero real number. So that means if you perform the product of A and B, where A and B are the two non-zero real numbers, so automatically the resultant will also fall under the same set. Associativity, we know that the multiplication of real numbers is associative. So obviously then associativity is also satisfied. Identity, 1 belongs to R star, so that A into E is also equal to E into A. So that is the identity element. So A into 1 is equal to A, and 1 into A is also equal to A. Inverse, so there exists an inverse to each A belongs to R star, we have 1 by A belongs to R star, such that 1 by A is equal to 1 by A into A is equal to 1. And if you do in reverse also, the same value you will get. Another thing is commutativity. We know that the multiplication of real numbers is commutative. AB is equal to BA. Find the set of all real numbers with which is group or not with respect to multiplication. So we have 0 belongs to R. The multiplicative inverse of 0 does not exist. Hence, the group R, that is set of real numbers. Previously, we have seen a set of non-zero elements, non-zero real numbers. So when you say real numbers, 0 will also include in that. Like that, find that the set of all positive rational numbers forms an abelian group or not under the composition star defined by A star B is equal to AB by 2. This is the expression. If you perform A star B, then you will get this expression. Using this expression, you have to perform the remaining operations. So you need to check for the closure property, associativity, identity. So it is satisfying all the properties like closure, associativity, identity, and inverse. So, and also commutativity. So hence this group is forming the abelian group. Because much discussion is not required. It's, by this time you are already aware of the properties of this the group properties or binary operation properties. In group G comma star, prove that identity element is unique. So that means there exists only one identity element. Like for example, non-zero real numbers are there. There exists only one identity element, that is 1. If you multiply with 1, then the resultant will become the same element. So you are supposed to prove it like let E1 and E2 are two identity elements in G. Now E1 into E2 is equal to E1. Since E2 is an identity, again E1 into E2 is equal to E2, which is since E1 is identity. So thereby E1 is equal to E2. See, this is mathematical proving of there exists one unique identity element. So here some exercise was given that inverse of any element is unique, and obviously if the element is A, inverse is 1 by A. If element is B, 1 by B. So always the inverse is always unique. If every element in the group is its own inverse, then show that the group must be abelian. So by this you can prove it at yourself. Now we have seen so far addition, multiplication, division, these kind of things. And there is a very, very important thing that modulo operation. Usually we have a set of some n elements, but we want to restrict all our operations to certain number. Then the best way is to perform the modulo operation. Okay, so that you do any operation on that major set, the resultant will fall under the under the modulo only. That means if I have taken the modulo 51 like that, so whatever the operation you do on the natural numbers, it will always fall under the that is non-zero elements. So it will always fall under the 51 only, because if you perform modulo operation, what you will get? You will get the remainder. Okay, so the remainder will always be fall under the 0 to 50. That is 0 to whatever the number you have taken, modulo number minus 1. Till that only you will get. So addition modulo, where m is a fixed integer, if a and b are two integers and r is a least non-negative remainder obtained by dividing the ordinary sum of a and b by m, the addition modulo m of a and b is r symbolically. That means you take two elements like 20 and 30, 20 plus 30 is equal to 50, and if you perform modulo 51, let you say m you have taken as 51, then the remainder is what? 50 modulo 51, 50 only. Okay, so that is what the r remainder is. This is the r. Okay, m is 51 here, a is 20 and b is 30, right? So a plus m b is equal to r, and this r will always fall under the range 0 to m minus 1. So here less than, not equal to, only less than m. That means it will come up to m minus 1. Assume that b is 31, then a plus b, 20 plus 31 is 51. 51 modulo 51, which is 0. So that is the reason 0 less than or equal to means it will also equal to 0, but it will come up to m minus 1, like that. And what is the case if a is a negative or b is a negative number? So here minus 15 plus 3 is minus 15 plus 3 is minus 12. Okay, so minus 12. So usually modulo operation will be done on the positive values, positive numbers. Okay, if there is a negative number, it must be subtracted from the modulo number. Okay, it must be subtracted from the modulo number. So minus 12 is there. So minus 15 plus 3 is minus 12, and it should be divided by 5. So divide by 5 means you will get, so if you divide by 12 means 12 modulo 5 means how much? 2 you will get. So that means minus 2 is there, remainder is minus 2 is there. This minus 2 must be subtracted from the modulo number. What is the modulo number? 5. So 5 minus 2 is 3. So always modulo operations must be within the range of 0 to m only. Okay. So you cannot directly subtract 12 because 12 is minus, see this 12 value, 12 is greater than 5. So you are supposed to perform normal division. You keep minus like that only. If you perform here, you should not say division, here modulo operation, you can say 12 mod 5 is 2. So here minus 2 is resultant. So minus 2 will not fall under the range of 0 to m. So that reason you have to subtract from the modulo number. So you should bring it to the range of 0 to m minus 1. So it is 3. Now the same is the case with the multiplication modulo also. If a and b are two integers and r is the least non-negative remainder of obtained by dividing the ordinary products of a and b by p, then multiplication modulo p of a and b is r symbolically. So here a cross p, b is equal to r. Now if I have given you same question which was there in the previous example, minus 15 plus 3, here modulo is 5. Now if I say multiplication, minus 15 multiplication modulo 5 with 3. So what could be the resultant value? Minus 5 into 3. So here, sorry, minus 15 into 3. How much? Minus 45. So minus 45 should be divided by how much? Same operation you do, minus 45 divided by 5. So what is the modulo operation? 45 modulo 0. So minus 45 modulo 5 is 0. So here it is minus 0 means nothing. Okay, 0 only. 5 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 0 is 5 only. But okay, so that means always you should bring this value into the range. Let we'll see some other number, like for example minus 6 multiplication modulo with 8. Okay, multiplication minus 6 multiplication modulo with 8, where b is the value say for 5. Okay, you take like this, minus 6 into p is 8 here, b is also b is 5 for example, minus 6 multiplication p is 8 and b is 5. Minus 6 into 55 is how much? Minus 30. Minus 30 modulo 8. Minus 30 modulo 8 is minus 6. So 8 minus 6 is 2. So that is what the resultant value. Okay. Find that the set G is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is an abelian group or not with respect to addition modulo 5. So you can make the table like this. addition modulo. So since all the entries in the composition table are elements of G, so that means if you perform modulo operation, then all the elements are falling under the G, and set G is closed with respect to the addition modulo 5. Associativity for any three elements A comma B comma C belongs to G. So here A plus B with mod 5 and A plus of B plus C with mod 5 leaves the same remainder when divisible by 5. So you see all combinations, you will get the same values here. Existence of an identity. Obviously there is existence an identity, 0 is there. If you 0 plus anything mod the number, you will get the 0 only. And inverse also present. So here inverse is 1. 4 inverse is 1 and 1 inverse is 4 because you have to subtract it. If you say 1 inverse means 5 minus 1 is 4. If you take 5 minus 4 is 1. Just like that, you have to subtract it. Next is commutativity. From the composition table, it is clear that A plus B is equal to B plus A mod 5. Show that the set G is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is an abelian with respect to multiplication modulo 5. Previously it is an additional modulo and now it is multiplication modulo. So you form the same composition table and go for checking of the properties, associativity, existence of identity, inverse, and commutativity.